Imagine thinking you were ugly. Imagine hiding from cameras as a teenager, too ashamed to be seen. Now imagine becoming one of the most unforgettable supermodels of all time. This isn't a fairy tale. This is the true story of Yasmeen Ghauri, a woman who redefined beauty, walked away from fame, and did it all on her own terms. In the 1990s, Yasmeen was everything fashion wanted: tall, hypnotic, effortlessly in control. The walk, the face, the presence. Designers built entire collections around her. Photographers followed her across continents. Yasmeen wasn't just another model, she was a phenomenon. But she never fit the mold. Not really. Born into a devout Muslim household in Montreal, Yasmeen's early life was strict, quiet, and far removed from the glamour she would one day inhabit. Her father, an imam, believed in modesty: no dancing, no showing skin. At school, she was bullied for her skin tone, misunderstood for her faith. She didn't dream of fame. She just wanted to disappear. I never really asked for this. I didn't want to be a model, I didn't look for it. Yet everything changed one afternoon. Fresh out of a Montreal salon with a new perm, Yasmeen was stopped on the street by a stylist. He told her she had something, and suggested she visit a local agency. She went, not out of ambition, but out of curiosity. She signed with Giovanni Benodi, and for the first time, no one tried to change her. She wasn't too much. She wasn't too different. She was just Yasmeen, and that was enough. There was absolutely nothing we had to change about Yasmeen. Within a year, she left her job at McDonald's and stepped onto the runways of Paris and Milan. Europe didn't just notice, it opened its doors. But back home in Canada, the response had been colder. She was told she looked too ethnic. That shadow followed her. She wasn't blonde. She wasn't blue-eyed. She wasn't what the industry thought it wanted. And yet, when she walked into a room, people noticed. When she stepped onto a runway, everything changed. Her rise wasn't loud. It wasn't overnight. But it was inevitable. By the early 90s, Yasmeen was everywhere: Chanel, Dior, Versace. But it wasn't just her looks that made her iconic, it was the way she moved. Long-legged. Loose-hipped. Always floating. Her walk wasn't forced, it was instinctive. Designers studied her. Photographers obsessed over her. Even Karl Lagerfeld admitted, girls tried to copy her, but none had her body, her grace. Tyra Banks once joked, Yasmeen walks like her hips are about to dislocate. But it never looked rehearsed. She brought something rare to the runway: not seduction, but rhythm. Not performance, but presence. She didn't just wear clothes. She gave them meaning. And those eyes. That's what photographers came back to again and again: not the body, not the angles, but the quiet intensity. Yasmeen could own a frame without saying a word. To the world, she looked untouchable. But inside, she was still figuring it out: how to handle fame, how to stay grounded, how to hold on to herself. People used to call me chocolate cake face. In school, she'd been mocked for her skin, her height, her awkwardness. Beauty, she thought, belonged to other people. But somewhere between the photo shoots and the runways, something shifted. She found power. She found herself. I don't think I'd be who I am now if it weren't for this business. She was working non-stop: Dior, Versace, Jill Sander. She brought elegance and gravity to every show. But the tension never left, especially at home. In the show, I'm not wearing underwear. And my family, they're not thrilled. Her father, an imam, didn't just disapprove, he believed her modeling could endanger his own salvation. The weight of that expectation followed her everywhere. She didn't reject her upbringing. But she couldn't live the life her father imagined. And that struggle shaped not only their relationship, but how she saw herself, what it meant to be visible, and what it cost. Even at her most successful, Yasmeen carried that conflict. She never talked about it much, but you could see it in the silences, in the things she chose not to share. She didn't like being watched. She didn't like being famous. She didn't want to be on every red carpet or in every magazine. She once joked that dressing ugly made her feel good. That she liked being ignored. That she didn't wear makeup when she went out because she wanted to disappear. I just want to have an easy, happy life, And being watched isn't comfortable. And she meant it. Yasmeen never chased celebrity. She kept her personal life private. She kept her distance. And when people asked how long she'd keep modeling, she always gave the same answer. Not long. Modeling wasn't the dream. It was something she tried. A chapter. A way to make money. Then move on. But the world didn't want to let her go. By the mid-1990s, she started turning down jobs. She stopped appearing at major shows. There were fewer photo shoots. Fewer sightings. And when she did speak, there were quiet hints about being tired, about craving a simpler life. I never really got to find out who I was outside of all this. She'd gone from high school to high fashion almost overnight. There had been no pause, no space to grow. Just travel, fittings, and flashbulbs. Eventually, she said she hoped her career was nearing its end not because she was burnt out, but because she wanted something else. She wanted her life back. And so, in 1997, Yasmeen Ghauri quietly stepped away. No scandal. No public statement. No dramatic goodbye. She just walked away. And maybe that's what gave it power. She didn't need a comeback. She didn't need a final runway. Because she had already made her mark. As the first South Asian woman to break into high fashion, Yasmeen didn't just model clothes. She modeled possibility. For every girl who had been told she didn't belong. For everyone who had been made to feel too different. She stayed silent. She stayed away. But she never stopped mattering. Today, she's still in Canada. Married. A mother of 2. Living quietly. Living fully. And maybe that's what made her different even back then. In a world that always wanted more, Yasmeen Ghauri knew when enough was enough. She opened doors. She shifted perceptions. She left a legacy that doesn't live in headlines, but in presence. In grace. In restraint. She didn't walk away to disappear. She walked away to finally live. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is leave when the time feels right. And live a life that doesn't need to be seen to be real.